Well, on the line now is our former correspondent in Moscow, Nick Holdsworth. Nick, why do you think the court has handed down such a harsh sentence today?
Vladimir Kara Murza has long been a very vocal critic of the Kremlin, and let's not forget that on two occasions, in 2015 and 2017, he suffered serious health problems after being poisoned with some kind of chemical agent, which he's suffering ongoing effects from to this day. It seems that with the other key Kremlin critic, Alexei Navalny, in prison for a term of up to 11 and a half years, another opposition politician, Ilya Yashin, imprisoned last December, for 8.5 years for criticizing the war in Ukraine. It seems that the Kremlin wanted to crack down even harder and send out a message that any criticism of the war is just not permitted in Russia anymore. And Kara Murza had been speaking to CNN just a few hours before his arrest on these current charges, where he accused the Kremlin of being a regime of murderers. The length of the sentence, although the Kremlin will say that the judiciary is independent in Russia, the length of this sentence probably reflects the degree to which Vladimir Putin himself personally dislikes Vladimir Kara Murza.
And Nick, what do you think this sentencing today tells us about the sort of state of Russian society a year after the war in Ukraine began?
Well, it's increasingly repressive. We now have the most repressive Russian state since Soviet times, in fact, probably since Stalinist times. And in his closing remarks at the trial, Vladimir Kara Murza reflected on that, saying that the court case now was just as bad as the show trials that Joseph Stalin held in the 30s. And he said that despite the fact he was asked to show some remorse over his actions, he was proud of everything he'd said. He said criminals are supposed to repent of what they've done. I, on the other hand, am in prison for my political views. I also know that the day will come when the darkness over our country will dissipate. So the courage of this man, who holds dual Russian and British citizenship, is quite apparent. And the Kremlin are using him to send out a message to Russian society not to utter a word of criticism over this war as it enters now its second year. And it's quite clear that the Kremlin seems to be in the war for the long term now.
Nick Holdsworth, thank you very much.